difficult.
All right, here's a question for you. I want you to give me like 2 or 3 examples. He used me, and this is how.
He used me to take care of his children, and they were my children too, and he used me for that reason. He used me also because he knew that I loved him very much. And he used me. I changed my religion for him. I changed where I lived. I changed a great deal of things, but I suppose I just let him get away with it. I realize that now. And the realization came to me about 4 years ago. I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I had gone away for 28 days of intense therapy and had learned during that time that I have the right to be angry and I have the right to feel certain things. And I think it really took that to make me realize that. And it's been about 2 years since we've been separated.
Ray, how long did it take you to realize that you were a user? You were like the men these women complain.
It's been within the last 3 to 5 years that I have come to that realization. And my using Geraldo was not a conscious, willful setup that I would go out and look for a woman to use. What I realized about it for myself was that it was using for my own self-esteem, for my own needs. And I wanted to be taken care of. I didn't know how to take care of myself without having a woman there to be able to do it for me.
And it was not intentional, you say, you're using the women?
It wasn't a conscious act. Looking back on it, the effects are exactly the same. So that that's where today I begin to draw the line of not only how I participate, but how my partners participate in relationship.
Did you ever see that old TV program, This Is Your Life? I don't know, maybe you're not old enough, but like they would bring out someone from your past and say, here's your school teacher and here's your, your little cousin. Well, we're not going to bring anyone out to say hello to Ray, but we do on the telephone have an old friend of yours. Becca, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So Ray says, and Ray had no idea that she was going to call in, Ray says that it was not intentional, it wasn't conscious, it was sort of accidental in his maturing process. Do you agree, Becca?
Well, I don't know what you call not intentional, because I know that Ray was aware of it the entire time that he was doing it. So I don't think people go out and hunt people down to use, but once there's someone there available, I think they're aware that they're using them. And I think Ray was aware that he was using me.
Ray?
Well, again, what I look at in the relationship with Becca was a combination. It's a two-way street, a two-way relationship.
I want to ask you to hold the rest of the highway directions because we've got to take a break. You and Becca can talk about it when we come back.
Make a difference in your afternoon with News 15's First at 5.
Several people in the Fort Wayne area are suffering burns today, the result of 4th of July fireworks.
At least one of them is in the burn unit at St. Joe Medical Center. Today, we'll take you inside the burn unit, where you would most likely end up if you were the next burn victim.
You'll see the debriding, the scrub downs, the skin grafts, all the painful processes that come with recovering from a very serious burn.
Watch First at 5, today at 5, only on Wayne TV.
The difference between the best overhead door company and all the others is a ribbon. This ribbon. It means we install and service more doors and openers than anyone else. It means 40 service trucks running day and night. It means this company invented overhead doors. A lot of companies use our name. Only one has the ribbon. The original overhead door. When you need service, look for the ribbon in the yellow pages.
The Jennings have moved to a new town. There's just one pesky problem.
He's just a spy.
Now experts are moving in, neighbors are moving out, and the Jennings are just trying to stay calm.
Yeah, chill out.
Arachnophobia, a thrillamedy, rated PG-13. Also from Touchstone, critics have made Dick Tracy the best reviewed movie of the year. Time magazine says it's great movie making. Gene Shalit calls Dick Tracy a triumph. And Siskel and Ebert give 2 thumbs up. Dick Tracy, rated PG, now playing. And Arachnophobia, sneak preview July 14th.
They were two beauty queens, best friends. Lori was elected Dairy Princess. Lisa was voted Homecoming Queen. They shared their crowns until one day they came to share the same boyfriend, and jealousy led to murder. The Dairy Princess strangled the Homecoming Queen. The case of the Beauty Queen murder.
Tonight at 10:35 on Wayne TV.
When last we spoke, Ray, you were talking about she using you as well as you using her. Is that the gist of it?
What I've learned about relationships today is that they're mutual and that we're both participating in that. My relationship with Becca was to look for, and what I found in Becca was someone who supported me absolutely, emotionally, provided me with emotional support, with encouragement. It went beyond that because Becca was willing to participate in a whole variety of ways, setting her life aside, as it were, for what we could do together, in this case, professionally, what we were looking for.
But weren't you playing around with another girl at the same time? I mean, listen, that's not, it's not like you were stealing nuclear secrets. It wasn't that unique, but I mean, you had another person at the same time, right?
I had just, I was completing another relationship, in fact, with a woman who I happen to be in relationship with now, and discontinued the relationship with Becca to go back to a relationship that I had begun, yes.
But Becca, was he frank with you? Did he tell you that? Did he say at the time? Did he give you full disclosure?
Not when I first met him. He was in a relationship with a woman he's speaking about and didn't tell me. After 2 weeks went by when we were much more involved than just professionally, which is the issue because Ray keeps trying to say it was professional and it wasn't. Then he told me about the other woman, and the whole relationship went back and forth between him saying he loved two women and he didn't know how to handle it, which sounds real conscious to me. And he would sleep with me, then sleep with her, and tell me he'd break up with her, and he hadn't. Until it finally got to the point that we moved away to Hawaii together because I did set my life...
You and Ray both moved to Hawaii?
Right, together. To do business, but also we were living together. He asked me to marry him. I came back to the States to pack up his house and my house because he said he didn't want to see the previous woman. And while I was gone, he resumed the relationship with her over the phone. And when I came back to Hawaii, did not tell me directly that he had changed his mind, but made me figure it out.
Well, Becca, did he use you? Do you feel used, or do you just feel that he was cheating on you?
No, I feel used. I felt used at the time, and I was very vocal about that I felt used at the time. And Ray saying that it was mutual wasn't my experience at all.
Ray, baby.
Well, there's no refuting the events, and without I use women and have used women to be able to support me emotionally and to be able to part of my process today, Geraldo, is to stop doing that, to be honest. To be emotionally honest, and it's not unusual for people in relationships at all to be completing one relationship and to move into another relationship.
You had us right until you started to try and explain it.
Okay.
Well, you really were sympathetic there, right to that last minute.
Well, and that's, and so there isn't an explanation with the facts. And today, and as I've expressed to Becca, it was not my conscious intent to use her. If I used her, I have no problem copying to that and dealing honestly and forthrightly with that today. And I feel I've made my amends to her. And I'm living my life differently today.
Becca, what do you think? You going to give him a chance? I mean, to let him go off into the sunset?
Go into the sunset? I have given Ray a chance. We do still talk. I still hear a lie when he speaks, though. And so I don't see a change in that. It is in some of the things that Ray says. But
why do you still talk, Ray? Why? Why do you still talk to Becca when you're going to marry this other lady? I I mean, let me just tell you, let me flash back to my life. I remember how easy it was to keep an ex on the string with just a little phone call every several weeks, or maybe just a postcard, or, you know. So in that sense, maybe I was a fellow traveler, but I know how easy it is to manipulate and to use.
Well, for one thing I'm doing is I'm making financial amends to Becca and paying back money that she contributed. Her part.
So you used her financially as well as all the others.
She had finances which she contributed and to our being able to do things like move to Hawaii.
What do you think about this?
I have difficulty in trying to figure out Ray as far as being not aware of whatever role he was playing. He claims to play double roles and not really being sincere about it or knowing about it. I can't, as a male, I don't relate to that.
Well, one thing, I'm glad you brought up the gender business, because I don't want anyone to think that men are the sole users. Chelsea sits here as evidence of the fact that women can use men, and sometimes do, as men can use women. So to the rhetorical question we asked at the top of this program, is he using you? We have to add to the men watching, is she using you? Chelsea's story's next.
Subway bakes my bread up fresh, and that's my way. My way. I get a combo seafood club the best way. My way. Subway. My sub in front of me, just the way it ought to be. It's fresh and hot. I know I got it. My way. Subway. My way. Subway.
Get any delicious 6-inch sub for just $2.29. Now that's my way.
I'm Ellen Akins, and with me are a handful of the wonderful folks nominated for a 15 Who Care Volunteer Achievement Award. They're here today because volunteering plays a major role in their lives. They're here because giving their time has had an impact on someone in need. They're here because they lend a hand when a hand is needed. And they're here to tell you one thing.
We volunteer.
You can make a difference.
You can see a difference when you give someone a smile.
What's your favorite show on Wayne TV? I like Italian Women. Well, so do I. Why do you like it? Because I'm Georgia Beauty Queen, just like you and Sugar Baby. Well, I'm a Fort Wayne Beauty Queen, just like myself.
I like to watch Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, weekday mornings on Wayne TV. That and my morning coffee wakes me up.
We watch Major Dad on Wayne TV because we like a man in uniform.
Follow these directions.
Number 1, wear the remote control.
Number 2, turn to Wayne TV.
Number 3, get your news first on.
First at 5.
Touching lives, we can make them better. Wayne TV and you, making a difference.
Now, Chelsea, you come to this place in your life because you feel you were used by men. Is that correct?
That's right.
Now, is it a statement of fact that a person you were intimate with actually, literally tried to sell you to somebody else?
That's pretty accurate. The man was my husband, and he realized that there was this other very wealthy man who was very interested in me. So my husband got in contact with this man and told him that he would divorce me for a sum, and he did.
How'd you catch him?
I knew he was doing it. I knew he was doing it. He said that he would just take the money from this man, and that then we would get remarried. He just had to have divorce papers to show him, and I didn't have to become involved with this man at all.
So do you also offer you to sell you some land in the Yukon or some gold stocks?
No, he didn't do that.
How else have you been used before we get to your own
Well, which time?
Lifestyle. Really? Is it something that bad? Is it something that's happened to you often?
Well, sure. My very first boyfriend, my childhood sweetheart, he used me. He used me for money. He ended up physically abusing me. That relationship finally ended after 5 years. I went with this guy from the time I was 13 till 18. And I'm not a quitter. I'm not stupid, and that's not why I stayed with him after all the physical abuse. I just have such a belief in people, or I used to have a belief in people that they really were good and that he didn't mean to hit me. Well, after that relationship ended, I got involved with a man who was almost 20 years older than me, and that relationship lasted for 2 years. He mentally and physically abused me. He was just a very mean person. But I stayed with him because I thought that he was inside a very good person. I thought he had a lot of potential to be a nice guy. I was 18 years old. He was 38, and he should have known better than to take advantage of me and use me.
Is it fair to say that now, hardened as you have become because of these bitter experiences, you're using men?
That's exactly why I use men.
How do you go about it? How do you find the guys to use?
Oh, I meet them in a variety of ways. At work sometimes, where I work for a major hotel where a lot of businessmen come and go. I meet them that way. I strike up conversations with them. As a last resort, I'll go through personal ads in the paper in USA Today. Friday's a good day for ads in USA Today.
So what do you do? I mean, do you like CEOs, guys who run companies, married people, married guys?
I would prefer them to be married, or I would prefer them to be CEOs. As long as they make a lot of money, I'm not really that picky.
So what do you do with them and their money then?
Use their money to the full extent that I can.
Have you done this often?
Sure. Probably for the last 2 years. It started out just mildly. I didn't really intend to do it. I just had these rich friends who would buy me nice gifts, and I would accept them, and it gradually escalated into much more. There was a day that I made a conscious decision, though, to actually do this and make it my business.
And how old are you now?
22.
Be right back. If you'd like tickets to be in our studio audience, I hope you'll write us at Geraldo Tickets, Post Office Box 684, New York, New York, 10108. Or give us a call. The number 212-265-1283. We will be back in a flash. Stay tuned.
She was driving me crazy, saying, we really have to watch what we eat, which means we won't eat anything that tastes good. So she brings up the subject of reduced fat cheese, which may look and smell like cheese, but sure doesn't taste like cheese. Then she tells me I am eating reduced fat cheese, and it's low in cholesterol. So I pause, and I taste, and it's good. And I say, okay, so we'll watch what we eat.
Kraft Light Naturals. Reduced fat cheese that actually tastes like cheese.
We sprayed this house with Raid Max. 8 weeks later, we put 300 roaches inside. Within minutes, they were all dead because Raid Max kills month after month. When Max attacks, you win.
What's a tycoon to do? As the Donald faces financial woes, this week's People let you in on how a towering longing for money, power, and respect could topple Trump, the ego. This week, Trumpty Dumpty. People, that's what we're all about.
We're in the middle of a commercial break. For further information about the topic we're discussing, you can write to Codependence Anonymous, Post Office Box 33577. It's in Phoenix, Arizona, 85067. The phone number there, 602-277-7991. Give them a call. Get some help.
I like the stride of you.
Thank you.
I like the way you make me laugh.
Yes.
I like the funny things you do. You got a style that's all your own.
And cut. Cut.
It's just the desk man.
Sprite with Lyman, the unexpected twist that makes us different.
You? In the middle, yes, you.
Here's a tax fact. Average families pay 4 times more of their income for federal excise taxes than wealthy families. Federal sales taxes at the gas pump and the grocery store, on products like beer, wine, cigarettes, and gasoline. Now there are proposals to raise these taxes, which already hit hardest at working families. Excise taxes are unfair to average families. If we want to be fair, we ought to close corporate tax loopholes and raise taxes on the wealthy. They can afford to pay their fair share.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
We pledged our allegiance to it when we were young.
The flag was still there.
We studied its importance when we were in our teens.
He saw the flag.
We sing its praises at every sporting event. We display it when we celebrate.
Present.
Lower it when we mourn.
Our flag is presented on behalf of a grateful nation.
And honor our heroes with it when they've fallen. The flag of the United States of America. It stands for what we are and what we believe in. How we treat it says a lot about us.
How did you get so hard so young?
Years of abuse, years after trying to make relationships work and trusting people.
Is it a fact that you go to some of the offices of the CEOs pretending to be an interviewer for a law school magazine or something like that?
Well, it's close. I'm a pre-med student, and I will contact people such as surgeons, physicians, someone.
Chelsea obviously is in disguise. I mean, she doesn't look badly now, but I mean, when the wig and the glasses are off, she's quite attractive. And when you sit there and you cross your legs in front of the CEO, they start flirting, so you seduce them? Is that?
Well, I ask legitimate questions.
Yeah, don't ask them now. We're banned from the airwaves. But is there really much difference between what you're doing and just being a hooker?
I don't sleep with these men.
You don't sleep with them at all?
No.
Then how do you just use their money? You just get their dough? And they give you the money without the sex?
Well, I'm not so crass about it as that. I don't just go in there with my hand out. I more or less charm the money out of them. I don't do this all in one night, you understand? I don't go in there and interview them and walk out with a few $1,000s. I become their girlfriend or their mistress. Gradually.
Yeah. Okay, come on, experts. Can gals do it too? No.
Well, go ahead. You want to?
Didn't you write once that there are no victims, only volunteers?
No, that was Don Johnson's line in Miami Vice, but I thought it was a good one. Again, and that's not being harsh on us. I think there's more power in being a perpetrator than there is in being a victim, but I think we're still not getting what it is most of us want, and that's to be able to give and receive love in a relationship that works. But maybe we need to go through some different steps on the way in order to get there. God knows I've had to go through my steps to reach that point. I think the key, Geraldo, is learning the art of asking ourselves, not is this relationship going to be good in a year if he marries me? Is it good today? Are my needs getting met today? Is this what I want today?
I heard a lot of sadness in Chelsea's story, and I certainly agree with Melody about the fact that the bottom line is really what are you getting from the relationship. And the sad part for me was to hear how much effort you put into something that doesn't sound to me that it's particularly loving, and that there isn't that kind of interaction. But I think what we see here really is once someone has been abused and that there's continual abuse, how can you trust? How can you go into a relationship and trust that you're not going to be hurt one more time? And so for Chelsea and for women who are using men in that way, what she's doing is to retaliate. It's a form of anger. It also is a more powerful place than being in the abusive place. And that the dynamics between what Chelsea's doing and what Ray's doing, the underlying part, sounds very different to me. The motivation and the intention.
Ray talked about being unconscious. Chelsea's talking about being conscious. The part that I would be concerned about that may be unconscious is the price you're paying. And that would be my concern.
You think about that? The price you're paying? How much is this costing you in psychic or soulful terms?
I have no remorse.
Man, I'm glad I didn't run across you. Just would have steamrolled me. I would take my wallet.
Well, what are you doing tonight?
I'm married, thankfully. I'm safe. I'm safe.
I just wanted to ask Ray, at what point in your relationship did you realize that you were using your girlfriend or whatever? Was there a particular action or event that took place?
That's actually a good question for all. Was there really a moment of catharsis, right? Do you remember?
No one particular point, but it was at the point that I began to realize that being taken care of wasn't filling that void inside, wasn't taking care of that sick feeling, that trying to be okay. And I learned how to survive by putting on a good exterior. I learned how to survive by being a good romantic, by being able to give women what they wanted in a relationship.
I just thought of your perfectly appropriate just desserts. Chelsea's free tonight.
We've already talked about that.
I heard that. Were you really hitting on her backstage? Was it, Chelsea? Tell me.
We're comparing notes.
Oh, sure. We'll be right back.
An accident often happens when you least expect it. We're a law firm that helps accident victims. If you've been hurt, give us a call. We can't stop accidents from happening, but we can help you. The Lebemoff Law Offices help people who've been injured in an accident. Call 423-2581.
Now, Niagara introduces computerized Tranquilsage Motion, a gentle wave that moves from the feet to the shoulders, relaxing you after a hard day. Niagara beds come in all sizes, twin, full, queen, and popular dual king. For over 40 years, millions of people and thousands of doctors have used Niagara for relief and better sleep. Find out why.
Call now, and I'll mail you this helpful and important information. There's no obligation, so call now.
Not for the way it goes down easy. Not for the way you put the smile on your face. Not for the way it went to the fixer. Not for the way it put the show on you. Just one reason. Just one reason. Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke. Just one reason.
Hello, fans. It's a great day for baseball. He looks in for the side. It's a slider, and 2 runs scored. Now they're bringing in a relief pitcher. Bases are loaded. Bottom of the ninth.
New Grand Slam. If your score beats their score, you could win $5 grand instantly or $1 million on TV.
And he has done it.
Play Grand Slam. It's the great American pastime.
So some final thoughts. Lisa, what would you do differently now that you didn't then?
Well, today I know myself and how to recognize behavior rather than words. And I know how to trust now because I trust myself, and I had to look at what it was about me that got me into those situations.
Jane?
Well, for one thing, I wouldn't place a personal ad again. And I've been widowed for 17 years. And this is the first serious affair that I have had, or I did fall in love with him. I fell desperately in love with him. I'll not deny it. But I don't have time for that in my life anymore. That's ridiculous.
I would do a lot of things differently, but I am much different now. I've grown a lot in the last 2 years, and I'm very lucky for that.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Stephanie's book is Leaving the Enchanted Forest, The Path from Relationship Addiction to Intimacy. Now, Melody's book, you know the first one, Codependent No More, which is the New York Times bestseller. Her new book, Beyond Codependency and Getting Better All the Time. I wish that on all our guests. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being in our studio. You're a great audience. And thank you, folks, for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye. Tomorrow, what's it like to be pregnant in prison? Can moms raise their kids from jail? From inside a woman's prison, moms behind bars on the next Geraldo.
When news happens and you have a cellular phone in your car, call Star TV 15. If we use your story on News 15, you'll receive 1 hour of cellular time free from GTE MobileNet.
If you can't get enough of your favorite toppings, Pizza Hut has the pizzas you'll love. Do you love me? The Meat Lovers Pizza. 6 mouth-watering meat toppings smothered between 2 luscious layers of cheese. And now the new Veggie Lovers Pizza with peppers, mushrooms, and tons of other great veggies. Now get a Meat Lovers or new Veggie Lovers for $9.99. Any 2 for just $4 more. Do you love Meat Lovers, Veggie Lovers. Now who do you love? Pizza Hut. Making it great.